So people ask me this question all the time, and I just wanted to record this video so you can kind of get to know my background a little bit and hear the story that led me to this point in my career. So first of all, I am self-taught. I studied audio engineering in college, and that is very much system design and systems thinking, but not at all software. I started as a kid building websites and playing around with PHP and things like that back in the day, but I actually studied audio engineering when I got out of college. Then I kind of realized that it wasn't what I wanted to do for a career, and so I got back to the tech side and back into coding. And so essentially, I'm self-taught, and I really just kind of laddered up all the roles through my career based on that kind of foundational knowledge that I got when I was a kid. It was very much learning on the job and learning the hard way, and lots of trial and error, lots of mentorship, and seeking out advice from people further ahead from me. And that's always been an ongoing theme throughout my entire career. I worked at ad agencies. That was kind of when I got my start in my career building products very quickly. That's where I learned how to build fast and be able to iterate quickly for these big kind of Fortune 100 type companies. Then I got the itch to do a product beginning to end. I wanted to work on something that was longer lived, not just short-term projects, but long-term products. And so around that time, I joined Groupon when Groupon was the big deal in Chicago. And at that point, the company was turning down the acquisition offer from Google and going public with an IPO. So it was a really exciting time to join and work on some massive problems at scale. The big initiative and objective that I was in charge of there was breaking apart the monolith, the Ruby on Rails monolith that was our MVP, but we had scaled that to a huge point. And so at that time, we were acquiring all these clone companies all over the world that were just ripping off the Groupon business model. So we essentially had to build a new product platform that could be internationalized globally for all these individual product teams to build on top of and be able to move independently and deploy and ship product much faster than having this like monolithic, slow release cycle. So that was an amazing 2-year project. But at that point, I got the itch to do a startup from beginning to end. I really wanted to see what it took to get something off the ground to be successful. Coming off of Groupon, I had seen what good looked like at scale, but I wanted to see what it takes to make something good from scratch. And so I joined a company called Digit. This was around 2012. This was one of the first neobanks and first big fintech companies to be created after Mint. So our whole mission there was to automate financial health and help people get out of the grind of living paycheck to paycheck. So I joined as the first engineer, the first employee, and I was there for about 8 years. Over the course of that, I got to wear every single hat. Built all the parts of the product, moved into platform work. After I kind of topped out on the individual contributor level, then I started to move into management and more leadership. And so helped build out the engineering teams. By the time I left, we were about 100 employees and about 50 million ARR. So it was a really exciting time to kind of figure out what was next for me. At that point, I was just kind of ready for something new. And the company was preparing for an exit to get acquired by Opportune, a public company. So I was just ready for something new, and I really wanted to cleanse my palate. And so I took a little sabbatical, and then I was like trying to figure out like what's next for me. So at that point, I started doing what I called just startup consulting, and specifically around growth engineering, since that's what I was doing the most of at Digit when I left that startup. So I started helping companies all over the world, early stage, get on the right path and get started off on the right foot, and also helping later stage companies kind of get the house in order for either an exit or some other sort of due diligence for an investment. And this all kind of came from like a feeling as I was leaving my last startup that I almost felt unemployable. I felt like I just couldn't go back to having just a normal run-of-the-mill day job. I needed to do something at a higher level where I could help even more companies. And I also was thinking like, it's kind of messed up that investors get to have a portfolio of bets and they get to have a whole portfolio of opportunities, But as operators and executors, we typically have to only have one company that we work with. And I just thought that was kind of like bullshit. And I wanted to be able to play the field, see lots of options, build equity in multiple companies, and then double down on the ones that are really taking off. And so I saw it as almost like an investor portfolio approach to how I wanted to run the rest of my career. So that's what I've been doing for the last 4 years, helping a portfolio of companies in different ways, solving different problems based on what I'm best at. But it's been the most fun and exciting part of my career yet. And so, over the years, I was getting more opportunity than I could fulfill myself. And so I was talking to my executive coach at the time, Steven, who's now my co-founder of Tech Leaders. And he helped me so much as I was scaling my fractional CTO practice. We had the idea of, because so many people were coming to me asking how to get in this line of work themselves, we said, well, why don't we start a program where actually we help people do that? And so that is the kind of origin story of Tech Leaders, so that we actually kind of teach you how to fish and also give you fish as well for the opportunities that are in our network that are good fits for you. We're able to give you those fish, and then we teach you how to fish for yourself and get your own best opportunities. So that is kind of the origin story, my background that led to that origin story, and what we do with Tech Leaders.